Happy holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, December, whatever you like. I hope everyone is well. I am speaking slowly because we tend to get everyone joining right at the last second. I hope everyone is well. I hope 2024 is a good year. And if it wasn't, then I hope 2025 will be better. All right. I think I'm ready to stop speaking slowly and to begin. First, some disclaimers, and then this webinar will be a little different than prior ones because I'll get into the exciting stuff first, since it's a Saturday and it's the end of the year. In case someone just wanted to hang around for half an hour, I'd rather they get the spicy stuff first. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell any security ever. Further, this is not advice. The results here are provided for general information purposes as a convenience to you, the viewers. The materials are not a substitute for obtaining professional advice from a qualified person, firm, or even corporation. Here's the agenda. I will start with 2025. Technology will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's called agentic or agentic AI, and I will show you what that means. Short economic update, short market update, short-ish reinforced view of ChatGPT, top picks discussion, a new way to communicate about top picks, which is coming your way, and a summary. Look at that. We just did the agenda slide. We can all go home. No. Okay. Second point of the agenda. So it's easy for me to say that 2025 will be unlike anything we've ever seen before, but let's let someone else say it. So promising to get to the sizzle immediately. So I will. But here's what Alphabet CEO said. He said, I think 2025 will be critical. Every CEO says that every year, but they don't say this. I think it's really important we introduce the urgency of this moment and need to move faster as a company. The stakes are high. These are disruptive moments. He said disruptive twice. Said the stakes are high, said it's disruptive, said it's critical. We need to be relentlessly focused on unlocking the benefits of this technology and solve real user problems. He's not kidding. So rather than just tell you about this, I'm going to tell you about my friend Michael, who started a home decor business in October. So here's the story. First, I'll tell you Michael's story, and then I'll bring it forward and full circle to what's going to happen in 2025. What I'm going to say might be good news for you. It might be bad news for you. It might be no news for you. I'm guessing it's probably going to be good or bad, and not so no. Michael started a home decor business at the end of this year, started in October. So October, November, and December. It's been going for 3 months. Here's what his team did. And I'll tell you about each team member. First, he had to contact manufacturers. So he had one person, not him, manufacturing expert. This manufacturing expert communicated via email. It took him a month to get all the negotiations on manufacturing done, but of course it's ongoing. This person negotiated costs and timeliness across regions. He was looking at Vietnam and China. He could have looked at other places, but he looked at Vietnam and China for manufacturing. He had to register his LLC, secure name, tax ID, registered a trademark. Actually, Michael did all that. It took him half a day. It's not very hard. I had to set up a Shopify store with inventory tracking. He needed a Shopify expert. That's one person. That person is ongoing. He had to write product descriptions. He did this. It took him one day because he knew the first, 15 products he had. And he obviously has to continually create new products, new product descriptions, right? So he's continually creating new products and continuously creating new product descriptions. He took that on himself. So the legal stuff and this he did. He didn't really have much of a budget, so he had to plan social media ads. And for those of you who have ever done social media ads, you don't do it yourself unless you really don't want to be successful. So he had to get one person. It's an advertising expert. It took the advertising expert 1 month to figure out what he was going to do, and now it's ongoing. Okay. He partnered with influencers. This was very clever, I thought. This was one person, not him. This person contacted influencers either via DM or email. Influencers in the home decor industry. They're not like Katy Perry or something, but there are influencers in home decor. And their DMs are open or their emails are available. That took a month to kind of get all the partnerships together, but it is ongoing. And then finally, he had to have an integrated chatbot on his Shopify site. He hired a designer for the logo. That was fast. So that's 2 people off of Upwork. The chatbot was 1 week, but is also continual because there's new products and new designs, and they're dropping products and adding products. So I'm just going to smush everything together. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I just want to point a few things out that Michael did. Okay, 1 person ongoing for manufacturing negotiations, a person ongoing for Shopify with inventory management. Product descriptions, he's doing that continually. Social media ads, a very difficult job, actually. Advertising in general, that's ongoing in a person. A person who works with influencers, you don't mess with that person once they have relationships with influencers. You just, you roll with that. And again, that's all DM and email. There's no phone here, oddly. I know it sounds weird, but not one of these took a phone call. 0. The integrated chatbot, that's 2 people. Okay, that was over in a week. Here's the thing about this home decor business. He didn't hire any of these people. This is what he did. He clicked that arrow, start a home decor business for me. He did not do any of the work. And he was notified when everything was up and running via email. An email which came from himself. He has a Gmail account. He emailed himself without himself doing it. And it said, these things are done. And how is that possible? How did he negotiate manufacturing in Vietnam and China, register the LLC, tax ID, trademarks, Shopify, inventory tracking, product descriptions, social media, advertising, talking to influencers, and create a chatbot? How could he do that by writing a prompt and getting an email? It was actually 37 days later that said, your business is now up and running. They're called agents. These agents, however, are not people. First, a definition. An AI agent, okay, it's not a person. An artificial intelligence agent is a program or system, not a person, that perceives its environment. Okay, there's 4 things. Perceives its environment. It makes decisions. It's not told what to do. It makes its own decisions. It takes actions autonomously to achieve specified goals. It's given a goal. The actions it takes after that are simply to achieve the goal. It uses algorithms, data, and sometimes machine learning to process inputs, reason, and adapt over time. Agents do 4 things. They perceive their environment, they make decisions, they take actions autonomously, and they adapt over time. The thing about agents is that they're free. They never take time off. They can be replicated to infinity. You can have infinity people negotiating for him. And they don't make mistakes. So here are his agents. Before I talk about the agents, I want to tell you that the whole point of this was not this. What I've just shown you to many people is like, wow, that's possible. It is, it was, and it happened. But that's not the wow. That's not why 2025 is going to break the world in half. It's not this. It's the thing that you're going to realize after I show you another slide. Takes a little time to get there. So first of all, these are the agents. He's a communications and negotiation agent, which handles external communications. This is the agent that contacted manufacturers via email and negotiated cost timelines across Vietnam and China. Literally back and forth emails, competing against each other to get the best prices. This communications agent also contacted influencers via DM and email. He didn't contact them via DM and email. He doesn't even know who they are. Negotiated collaboration details. It also hired a designer, right? Remember, it achieves specific goals. Handles external communications. That's this agent. His next agent was his business and legal agent. He called him his paper pusher agent. I thought that was offensive, but it's not my business. This agent has a specific goal, to achieve a specific goal. He's a web and e-commerce agent, achieving a specific goal. A content and marketing agent. Product descriptions, planned social media posts, achieving specific goal. Perceiving its environment, making decisions, taking actions autonomously, adapting over time. And finally, he had his developer agent. That's his programmer. Right? Achieving specific goals. It created the chatbot. And not only that, it called on the content and marketing agent for specific content. Right? So if it's creating the chatbot, it needs the content to put in the chatbot. That's not his job. He's a developer. This agent called on the content and marketing agent and said, hey, I need a description for this stuff. So these are the agents. That's not the wow. That's what most people think is the wow. That's not the wow. Again, they achieve specific goals, they perceive their environment, they make decisions, they take actions autonomously, and they adapt over time. There's no human intervention other than telling it the specific goal. But here's the real force multiplier. Just take a deep breath, think about what just happened, and recognize that this is one millionth of what we actually just saw. It's not that Michael created a home decor business with 0 people. It's this. Since these agents already exist, he started 9 more companies. He said, look at my cloud usage and replace Datadog in my software stack with a custom-built observability platform that only includes the 10% of features I actually need. Do 100 test runs. Cancel Datadog when accomplishing 100 out of 100 trial run success. He used his developer agent and his communications agent. Well, now he used 3 of them, developer, business, and content. Create a new cryptocurrency from scratch. List it on an exchange, set up and run a marketing campaign on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Google search. Join the 20 most active crypto Discord channels and casually introduce the new coin. Give the first 100 people to market it on social media free coins. These people must have at least 10,000 followers on social media. Now he's going to use 4 agents. Sign up for the top 10 online education platforms. Take the top 20 videos for each by category, screen record them, save them as videos, and then develop a personalized e-learning platform, complete with user signups. Offer the course content for 90% less than the least expensive platform you signed up for. So take everyone's business and then price it at a dime for all of their dollars. That's using 4 agents. 5th agent, build a minimalistic agile project tool to replace Jira. That's Atlassian, focusing on just the core features and automating redundant tasks. Use Jira's technical documents. Remember what I used to say? A company's technical documents are simply the prologue to its epitaph. The prologue to its epitaph. Use Jira's technical documents to accomplish this. Price it at 90% less than Jira. Message every social media follower of Jira Atlassian on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn through DM. Tell them they can have it for free. Create a LinkedIn corporate page, post 100 fake images of the team developing the project and the support staff ready to help. That use all 5 agents. How about this? Create a stock research product that analyzes the top 100 public and private technology companies. Write an establishing dossier for each. Take Q&A from earnings calls and news articles with CEO quotes and create a one-on-one with the CEO section as well. Introduce a new company to watch every day and a new top pick every week. Sign up for Tegus and get expert channel checks and rewrite them as though you did the interview yourself. Publish 1 channel check per day. Sell this for $1 a month. This is 2025. this, 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 this. I will want to achieve specific goals, and I will have an agent, or many agents, perceive their environment, make decisions for me, take actions autonomously without me, adapt over time without me. Go after any business in the world that catches my fancy. Started with a home decor business, created 10 more. Why? Because the agents already exist. They might as well do something. The cost to run the agents in total, $200 a month. OpenAI, the company that runs ChatGPT, is releasing their agent January of 2025. They might do it January 1st. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't actually know. In less than a month, ChatGPT driven agents will be live. This is 2025. Do you remember what I said last webinar? I said an earthquake is coming. You guys remember that? But first, in order to get here, some things will happen. In the short term, I'll say 1 year, there will be increased usage of leading enterprise software companies and infrastructure. In order to do all this, remember what I said? People are like, oh, there'll be 10x as much code. I said, there will not be. 10x is, 1,000% more code. I said, it's probably going to be closer to 1 million or 10 million% more code. Each one of these prompts, which get 5 agents to create a business, create a massive amount of code. That code will be products. Or in simplest terms, usage go boom. Elastic charges for usage. Datadog charges for usage. They call it consumption. The more you use it, the more you pay. That's the start. Remember I said there were 10 pillars of generative AI? Much more code created. More infrastructure is going to be needed to hold and run that code. You will need more semiconductors and tooling of semiconductors needed to support that infrastructure. You will need more platform on that infrastructure to run the code, run on the infrastructure with semiconductors and tooling. You will need more observability. Observability simply means a software which looks at your cloud and tells you what's going on. More APM needed. APM stands for Application Performance Management. It's just a dashboard which tells you how your apps are doing, how your applications are doing, how the software is doing. Is something up? Is something down? Is something slow? Because of all that, there's going to be more source code management. You're going to have 1,000,000% or 10,000,000% more code created. Well, it doesn't just float in the world. You have to manage that code, source code management. That's GitHub and GitLab. Obviously, this is going to create an obtuse amount of data. As I see it, there will be more data created in 1 second than has ever been created since the dawn of civilization until today, within 3 years. In 3 years, 1 second will equal all of civilization's data ever created in the history of mankind. Every second. And the funny thing is, because that's true, then in the second, there's going to be all that data times 2 to create data on. We think that we have a problem storing things like oil or water. We're going to have so much data, we're going to run out of space for data. Data is invisible. Data is zeros and ones. And because of all that, we're going to need to secure it. And with all of this, there's more products. We're going to need to sell it. These are the 10 pillars of generative AI. Now, there should be a thrust higher in tech consumption, cloud and software usage coming in the second half of 2025. Could be earlier from agentic AI. When people say agentic AI, they're meaning agent AI. That will be good for many companies. And then an earthquake. It will be devastating for many companies. Public, private. Let's focus on the first part. And then you need to be ready to focus on the second part. The top pick section of this webinar, it's the last portion of the webinar, as always, we'll talk about that. It's too big of an idea and too big of a change for us to skip steps. So I'm a math tutor on the side for free, obviously. And one of my students, they're in, it's interesting, in 8th grade, they do like some combination of algebra and geometry. I don't know, it's very different than when I was younger, which is fine. The two go together. And one of my students, she likes to skip steps because she thinks that she gets it. She doesn't quite get it. So like we'll be solving a very simple equation, it's with x's and y's, and we'll solve, and x equals 4, and then you plug x equals 4 into it to get what y would be if x equals 4. And she doesn't like to write the equation out, and she just likes to kind of do the math in her head. She gets it wrong. And I tell her, you're not good enough yet to skip steps. We're not good enough yet to skip steps. So first, we're going to focus on the pre-earthquake. And then we'll focus on the earthquake. Okay? Because we can't contemplate something that we've never seen or experienced other than simply contemplation. We can't be accurate. And luckily, we don't need to be. In the top pick section, I'm going to be much more specific. This is 2025. It will not be like other years, and the world may never go back to other years. So before I go any further on the normal part of a CML Pro webinar, my question to you is, do you understand? A prompt will displace multi-billion-dollar companies. Look at my cloud usage and replace Datadog. I'm not picking on Datadog. Do you understand now what I mean by an earthquake? This is 2025. It will not be like other years. A prompt will displace multi-billion-dollar companies. Do you understand? All right. Let's go to an economic update, catch our breath before we go to topics. Okay. Some realities to observe. This is kind of market and economic, so I bring it in both sections. The Dow Jones Industrial Average had its longest losing streak, not stream, since 1978. I don't know if you guys know that happened. That happened in December. Misspelling is going to come back. New housing inventory is at its highest level since 2008, and it looks like this. This is new housing inventory. This is what happened last time a new housing inventory went up. I know that doesn't make sense because we were told that wasn't true. It's okay. Remember that narratives change. This could be a story in 2025. I still believe that an irritant was introduced in 2020. We called it COVID. Fiscal reactions to it caused irritants. Irritants on top of irritants. The irritants wreaked havoc on our collective and personal psyches. It's pretty much gone. It's this period, after this period, where investors should be looking, where CML Pro is looking. We are here. So money is made and lost. Recognize the irritant, identify the impact, allow perspective to accept the end of that irritant. Have patience with yourself. This is why we have top picks. This is why we talk to CEOs, and then I share the conversations word for word. The trauma is ending. Now care for yourself and others. Lastly, if conversations like this make you angry, that's okay too. Letting go of pain is hard, and the truth of the matter is trauma often stays a lifetime. Waiting can be absolutely infuriating. All right, inflation and the stuff impacting it. Very short version. The Fed looks at PCE and core PCE, that's personal consumption expenditures, and personal consumption expenditures excluding energy and food. That's what core means. Just to be clear, because I know that a lot of you are still on Twitter, or you're reading news from people who, market watch. They don't really know what the fuck they're talking about sometimes. This is from the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. This is a public website you can go to. The Federal Open Market Committee, sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, judges that inflation of 2% over the longer run, as measured by the annual change in the price index for personal consumption expenditures. The Fed targets PCE, not CPI. I can tell you the difference between CPI and PCE if you like in the Q&A. It's a very clear-cut difference. PCE is what the Fed looks at. 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 The target is 2.0% if you read this as 2.0. The current PCE year over year is 2.4%. This is just a matter of fact. The current core PCE is 2.8%. The reason the Fed looks at core PCE, even though PCE is what it's targeting, is because the Fed believes that core PCE is a better predictor of where PCE is going sometimes than PCE itself. Okay? But, I just brought these numbers back up, but isn't PCE rising? Isn't inflation rising? Inflation's rising, right? So they say on CNBC, PCE is rising. Inflation's rising. No. Here's an annual look at PCE. Yeah, it's rising. 2.1, 2.3, 2.4. Oh my God, it is rising. It's getting out of control. No. Remember, 6 months ago, I said that the year-over-year change, which we write as YOY, year over year, is just replacing 1 month with another. So it's 12 months of data. Then we move forward 1 month. We drop what would be the 13 month and add a new month. It looks like this. Here's why PCE year over year looks like it went up. Because October and November of 2023 actually came in at 0%. It was really weird. October, November of this year came very low, 0.2 and 0.1. But when you replace 0 and 0 with 0.1 and 0.2, that's a total of 0.3. It goes from 2.1 to 2.4. So you say, well, why won't that continue? Because it's looking us right in front of our face. Here's what's coming. Here's what we're replacing next. We're going to replace December of 2023, January of 2024, February of 2024, March of 2024, April of 2024 with the corollaries. Well, if that's what we're going to be replacing, and that's what we've been getting, we're replacing this with what has been this. The average of these is 0.3. The average of these is 0.15. So we know that's getting replaced. It's probably going to be what's been happening over the last 4 months. That's 0.15 over 4 months. Oh my God, will be at under 2.0%. Is that a matter of fact? No. What we're replacing is a matter of fact. Will the future absolutely mirror this? No. Maybe not. That's my best guess. I have a little caveat there for the possibility for something happening with tariffs. I can't predict that, so whatever. I said last time that I'd shifted from inflation is the only thing that matters to what the Fed thinks about inflation is the only thing that matters to the economy matters, and now it's the labor market, and that's pretty much it. Labor market looks great. Well, labor market looks good. One last thing. Most people, me included, believed we would have a recession. I thought we would have a recession. I said the odds were 50 to 70%, which means my base case was recession. But if we didn't have one due to Fed tightening, and we didn't have one due to a war in Ukraine, and we didn't have one due to a war in the Middle East, maybe we're just not going to have a recession. Maybe. I'm going to finish the economic section with the same slide I have done for the last two webinars. Hey, we do this not because it's easy. We do it because we thought it would be easy. You know what I'm saying? This is what we got. You wondering why I'm not writing about the economy as much anymore? Because I don't think there's anything left to say. There's a little bit left to say, and I'll do a little bit, but I don't got to follow every PC report anymore. We got it. We got it. All right, let's talk about the market. Short. I just this again, so I have the typo again and the whole thing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average had its longest losing streak since 1978. That's probably not good. I don't know. The Fed is on a cutting cycle, or at least it was. The China Central Bank is on a large fiscal stimulus cycle. They had done very little over the last 4 years. China finally capitulated. It's not working. I didn't think it was going to work. I probably said that last time. You can't just destroy your economy and falsely inflate it and then, do a little bit of, the kind of like cards behind your back and be like, oh, look, aces. No, not going to work. Remember the port strike? I said, however painful it will be or will not be, it's just going to be temporary, guys. Don't worry about the port strike. Don't worry about, oh, there was no port strike. Yeah, maybe that guy was just a really good negotiator. His constituency were the Teamsters, port Teamsters. Yeah, no strike. All right, market. It's even worse than it was last time in terms of the equal weighted versus the actual index. So the equal weight is up 11% as of, 2 days ago. The S&P is up 25%. That's a gigantic difference. Same thing with NASDAQ. It's up 31%. Equal weight NASDAQ is up 7%. That's catastrophic. Russell 2000 versus NASDAQ, kind of the same. It's just, the bottom line is, why is this happening? It's the largest companies in the world. The 7 or 8 largest companies in the world driving everything. So breadth has been extremely weak. It's not exactly like the dot-com bubble. And the dot-com bubble, this is the percentage of least profitable companies making up the index, right? So it was like really garbage companies making up the index. We actually have the opposite problem now. We have very few companies making up the index. So, it's just different. Okay, a little bit of review with my DeLorean last time, 3 times ago. What's next in 2024? I said the bullish argument for 2024 should be, this is early in 2024, I said should be that rates come down slower than futures reflect. Futures reflected like 6 or 7 cuts or something like that. And I was like, well, that would be pretty bad. I said 2 or 3 would be Goldilocks. We got 4. We got 4 because the Fed cut too late. If the Fed would have cut in July, we only would have had 3 and inflation would be lower. That's my belief. But the Fed caught up and they did well enough. I said anything like this would indicate both economic resilience and continued disinflation. Okay, well, 4. That's the Goldilocks outcome. We almost got the Goldilocks outcome. Pretty close. I think we can celebrate. I said, I think a recession is possible, but less likely, and that's good. And then I said, no, but I think a recession is possible. And now I said, no, I think it's possible, and it's less likely. I think it'll be volatile because CEOs and CFOs told me it would be. I think it's going to be very bumpy for the stock market in the first half of 2025. But not if you look at January 1st and then June 30th, just if you're looking at every day. That's what long-term investing is, though, right? And CEOs, CFOs said it's hard to forecast a quarter ahead, Ophir. They said it's actually kind of hard to forecast a month ahead. And then I just threw my hands up on the trade desk. CFO said it's hard to forecast a week ahead. I was like, okay, I give up. But I stand by the first material statement I made today. An irritant was introduced in 2020 called COVID. Further we get from the irritant, the less irritated we are. We're focusing on after this. Either you choose to have a portfolio where some of the risk is in volatile assets, some of your portfolio is, or you don't. It's really up to you. It's not my decision for you. It's my decision for me. And it's your decision for you. It's your decision. Own your decision. Respect and honor yourself. This isn't for everyone. Just like skydiving isn't for everyone. It's not a judgment or a sign of bravery or intellect. It's just a thing you can do, you can choose to do or not to do. Some people like chocolate ice cream. Some people like vanilla ice cream. Some people don't like ice cream at all. You are neither a good or a bad person, brave nor intellectual, if you have any of those 3 things. It's just a choice you make. Maybe you're dairy free. All right, I'm going to reinforce my views of ChatGPT, short-ish, not as long as the last time when I introduced like 20 new companies. I'm going to go through the opportunity again. The future, there will be two types of companies. By the future, I mean as of today. Companies that take domain expertise and dive headfirst in generative AI, and those that will not exist. That's now. Unfortunately, the companies that have domain expertise and dive headfirst into generative AI, they might not exist either. But I assure you that the ones that don't will not exist. Much more code is going to be created. These are our pillars: more infrastructure, more semiconductors and tooling, more platform, more observability, right? Observing how your cloud infrastructure is doing, more application performance management needed, kind of the same thing, but how your applications are doing, more source code management, more data created, more security needed. Since there's way more products, it's a lot more advertising needed. These are where top picks fit in. Cameco, Space Mobile, and Astera are new topics. This is where they fit. Okay. Power, connectivity, chips. Then I said I was really focused on more infrastructure needed, and I talked about a bunch of companies. I said these are not new top picks. 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 I said let's just talk about nuclear energy. I've added a nuclear energy company. I've given 4 new companies to watch in nuclear energy, 3 of which were moonshots, and 1 top pick. This is what I said last time. I've now colored Cameco in green because it's a top pick. BWX, which is actually ticker BWXT, Bank of America loves this company. Just so you guys, like their top pick, Bank of America, just so you guys know. And then I talked about data center infrastructure. I listed a whole bunch of companies, and a bunch of companies, here's like infrastructure stuff. Here's other companies. I've added Astera to chips, now a top pick. Company to watch, Air, AppLovin, a company to watch, JFrog, Cameco's right here. Just list of companies. There's lots more. As an example, not a solicitation to buy or sell any security ever. This is not advice, and the materials are not a substitute for obtaining professional advice from a qualified person from a corporation. But if you were really into nuclear, I'm not that into nuclear. But if you were, you could kind of do something. You could kind of create your own ETF kind of thing. Like kind of this would be nuclear power. And I also have 3 moonshots that I wrote about. This would be kind of the cooling version of the world. This would be the real estate portion of infrastructure. And this would be like the antennas and stuff. Like this is not all nuclear, but this would be like a nuclear ETF for yourself or a cooling, if such a thing interests you. I'm not doing that, but if you wanted to. All right, the risk. An earthquake is coming to software. Of that I am sure. Agentic AI will change everything forever. My view of software for the next period of time is that Gen AI will make many close to worthless. It will be a violent and sustained earthquake that lasts from now until the end of time. And just measuring key performance indicators, KPIs like billings, RPO, remaining performance obligations, annual recurring revenue, dollar-based net expansion rate, free cash flow, that's not going to be good enough. Software analysis is entering a phase of value by expert only. People need to really, really know what the software does and how. DevOps, air quotes, or security or vector databases isn't going to be good enough. Why will this code base not be replicated? Why will it matter? Why can't I make it with 6 months of effort with a part-time focus? Why can't I just write an agent to do it? Why are the public technical documents of a company not just the prologue to their epitaph? Thanks for those public documents. Hey, agents, go make this for me. For free. This is about to get very, very difficult and will rattle public and private markets. 1 out of 100 software analysts will be able to disambiguate the 1 out of 1,000 pieces of software that will make it as sustained commercial enterprises. No one's going to be able to cover every piece of software that's coming. There's just no way. Agentic AI will change everything forever. So this is why I think the opportunity is greater than the risk for now. Right? I said this last time, my view of the future has evolved and it's a little more earthquake and a little less everything will rise. That's why we have specific pillars. There was this case study from Forbes, the article called The End of the SaaS Era. I'm not going to go over the same thing. Talked about the commoditization of software. You guys can read it when you get the slides. It was just Klarna. They basically replaced, not basically, they replaced Salesforce and Workday with their own systems. So I'm not talking about like this little podunk software. Salesforce and Workday, the giants of their industry. And they were just like, we don't need it. Klarna seems unique now. And in a year, we'll be like, well, who was the first one to do that? It was built on OpenAI's infrastructure and replaced 700 work agents, not AI agents, right? So they used OpenAI's infrastructure to remove the two of the most powerful enterprise software companies in the world before agents. Before. And it raised some questions about SaaS in the future.